I'm back. Handsome Dr. E here, you just can't get rid of me. I love the camera too much. So we're going to move into Chapter 4, homework number 5, and we're going to take a quick look at how people typically value real estate. How do we put a price on real estate? Question number 1, what advantage does a multiple have over using a dollar figure? A multiple versus a dollar figure. Well, a multiple, as we said, is a standard unit of measure, so you can compare dissimilar assets. For example, you can use the multiples for a large company to help determine the value of a small company. Dissimilar assets, large company, small company. Large building, small building. Large piece of land, small piece of land. How can we use information from one situation to help us understand another situation using multiples? So what multiple is used to value a residential home? List the formula. Here it is. It's called price per square foot. How much are people paying for each square foot of a home? How do we get price per square foot? We take the total market price paid for the property and we divide it by the home square footage. How large is the home? And now let me add this, that typically it is heating and cooled square footage. So garages are typically not included unless they are finished off and they're heated and cooled. Basements are not typically included. Attics are not typically included unless they are finished and are heated and cooled. So total price for the property divided by the heated and cooled square footage, or number of square feet. All right, so let's find the price per square foot for the following houses. A $225,000 home with 2,000 square feet of heated and cooled space. And how much per square foot? The total price, $225,000, divided by the total number of heated and cooled square feet, 2,000, is $112.50. And so this is the type of calculation that enables us to understand what we're paying per foot for various types of property. A $350,000 home with 2,800 square feet. How much are we paying per foot? $350,000 price divided by 2,800 is $125 per foot. What we are talking about here is the price per foot. We're not talking about what is on each foot of property. What if you're talking about the country club versus a bad part of town? What if we're talking about a home that has high-end finish work, like marble floors and granite countertops, versus a home that has very inexpensive finish work? So we're not explaining why these numbers are different. We are just doing the calculations and noting that the numbers are different. We're going to have to do a little bit more work, more research to determine why the numbers are different. Okay? And lastly, a $700,000 home that's 4,500 square feet, $700,000 total price divided by total number of heated and cooled square feet, 4,500, $155.56. All right, so that's how the calculations are done. Now let's find the unit cost of building the following. We have a 500-unit apartment complex that we're looking at, and the total price is $25 million. What is the cost per unit, or the cost per apartment? $25 million divided by 500 apartments is $50,000 per apartment complex. Per apartment or unit. Now that might include the pool and the clubhouse, or it might not. We've got to make sure of what that includes. A 30-acre development that involves $300,000 for the land and $1 million in improvements, which is clearing the land, putting in streets, putting in drainage, putting in street lights, putting in utilities, and it's been subdivided into 81 lots. The cost per acre for this situation is $300,000 plus $1 million divided by 30 acres is $43,300 per acre. These types of calculations enable us to compare this property to other properties to see if we're in the ballpark. Is it too low or too high? What is the cost per lot? It's the $1.3 million divided by 81 lots, $16,000 per lot. So once we've done this calculation, this is for a residential neighborhood. $16,000 per lot. If we look around and we find that similar lots are being sold for $18,000, that means we would only make $2,000 per lot. The question is that enough to justify taking this risk? What if similar lots are going for $30,000 on the retail market? If we put $16,000 in and we can sell them for $30,000, then we can make some money. $30,000 minus $16,000 is $14,000 per lot times 81 lots. That's how much money we'll make. All right, value the following houses using the average price per square foot found in question 3. So in question 3, we took 112.50, 125, and 155.56 divided by 3, and we came up with an average price per square foot of $131.02. Now, let's see how much this house would cost. An 1,800 square foot home at $131 a foot would be $235,836. Number of feet times price per square feet equals the price of the house. Okay? So, let's say you're looking at a house. The first thing you need to do is find out how many square feet the house has. The second thing you need to find out is what is the average price per square foot in the neighborhood, and that gives you a starting point. When you multiply the number of square feet times the average price per square foot, you get an average price to start with. Then you have to fine tune it. 2,400 square foot house, 2,400 feet times $131 a foot, $314,448. These are starting prices, folks. Then we have to figure out, how does the lot look? Is it a flat lot compared to bad lots? Is it good dirt versus rocky dirt? What is the house? How old is the house? What does the finished work look like in the house? There's a lot of research we have to do. We can't just say, oh, we're just going to pay $131. If we pay more, we'll be paying above average. We refuse to do that. Well, good luck buying a higher quality house because you're refusing to budge. Then lastly, 3,200 square feet, 3,200 square foot house times $131 a foot, $419,264 is what it would cost you. Okay? So you can see that the price you pay for a house is a function of how large the house is and what the price per square foot is of the house. All right, our last question here is to value the following. So I looked online, went to Zillow to see what the average price per square foot is for a good quality home. And in Searcy, I found out that the average price per square foot for a good, slightly above average quality home is $115 per foot. $2,500 is a good second type house. Most starter homes are in the range of $1,700 to $2,000, and most second homes where you move after you've been promoted and had a child or two, then you move into your second house, and it's usually 2,500 to 3,000 square feet at $115 per foot. That house will cost you $287,500. Okay? Now in chapters 4 and 5, 5 and 6, we'll go over time value of money, and we will determine how much our monthly payment will be for a 30-year mortgage at a certain interest rate. Okay? All right. In Nashville, the average price per square foot is $170 a foot. So that same house in Nashville will run you $425,000. The question then becomes, do you make more money in Nashville at the same job that will offset the higher cost of living? That same house in Dallas, which has an average square foot price of $200, is $500,000. So you can have a house in Dallas. You want to live in Dallas. You're determined to live in Dallas, man. You're a Cowboys fan and you love shopping. So you're going to live in Dallas and you're going to pay $500,000. Or you can choose to live in Mayberry, USA, otherwise known as Searcy, and you can pay about half of that for the same house. Depends on how big a Cowboys fan you are. If you got to be at the games, then you might have to live in Dallas. Or if you just have to shop at Nordstrom in person, then you're going to have to pay $500,000 for that house. All right. Atlanta, the cost, $225 per foot, and you're going to pay $562,500 for the same house. This is the very same house in a nice neighborhood in these different areas. And lastly, you are just bound and determined, New York City is where you want to be. Okay? Farm living ain't the life for me. And so, the same house is going to cost you $4.1 million in Manhattan. Good luck with that. I hope that you get the kind of job that will enable you to afford a nice 2,500 square foot house in Manhattan. All right, this is the cost of living across the country. Notice I left out a lot of places. Chicago's not in there, and LA is not in there. Houston is not in there. San Francisco is not in there. If you want to step over all the drug addicts and all the outdoor bathroom areas in San Francisco and LA and some of these other sanctuary cities, I don't know why people are paying. Maybe they're paying these high prices so that they don't have to put up with those kinds of conditions in these cities. They'll let all the less fortunate people who can't afford these high prices have to deal with all those problems. All right, there's Dr. E getting political. Peace out. Shalom. I think that's the end. Yes, that's the end of homework 5.